obviously a tough day, and had a chance early on to really separate in the game. Like we were playing well, and I thought Wes was pitching as good as I've seen. Like he was on it, and then in the fourth inning, I think it was double home run, walk, home run, and from that point on, it seemed like their hitters were on really everything. We were not landing enough off-speed pitches. It seems like they did a good job of recognizing that fact and laying off some of the stuff and put themselves in a really good position to do some damage. We had no answer. On the flip side, like the maturity of some of the things at the plate was not good enough. And some of the young guys, this is their first time going through something like this, and we had a lot of young guys in the lineup today, and they need to grow from this and learn. It wasn't pleasant by any stretch. We did not function, early in the game fine, and then as it started to get away from us a little bit, we found no way to kind of reel it back in. And I tip my hat to them. They played very well, and I thought we had their starting pitcher on the ropes, but we needed a little more delivery and execution of something to happen to capitalize on some of those moments early where you might push that lead, where it's a whole different ballgame. But obviously difficult, not pleasant to go through in any respect, and the guys have to learn. We talked a lot about the work that you do. These guys they work very, very hard, and most people don't see that. But some of the things they work on a daily basis to prepare, it's not going into the ball game as well as you would hope. And some of these guys are young guys. I think some of our older players are doing a nice job. I think some of the young bucks right now are trying to learn how to take some of those things and how important it is to insert it into your gamesmanship as you go through the competition.
Feels like the biggest difference with Wes last few weeks has been the command and the walks. Just do you see a common theme with the
walks?
I
thought he wasn't landing. That could be a theme. If we want to break it down, we just didn't land our secondary pitches well enough, and they weren't chasing it. But there wasn't a lot of difference between, if you were just watching, maybe even the hitting side too, our less than two strike breaking pitches and the ability to land it, you wouldn't know if that's what it was. And then when we got in situations where we need to get those like out of the zone to try to punch people out, we didn't seem to do that. And they spitted a lot of his stuff, and he didn't. I thought the stuff was pretty good. I thought the fastball life and command was okay, good enough, but they didn't offer. And then I think once they found that we were not landing them enough, they did a good job of recognizing and just trying to eliminate that as we went through the game. And that will hurt you. That will hurt you.
You guys coming into this weekend were always really good at responding or flushing things or just making a play when you need to. But obviously yesterday and today, you guys are never able to get back in the game. Why did that not happen for the team today?
You have to execute what you're doing on the mound. We did not do that. This game revolves around what you're doing on the mound. Did we support that defensively? There were clearly some moments we did not. Then you have to go up to the plate and have an idea and approach of what you're trying to do to shrink the range of what you're trying to offer at and hit in less than two strike counts. I didn't feel like we had any difference in our less than two strike hitting and our two strike hitting. And we have talked about it, but they did a good enough job of baiting us into some of the sloppy at-bats that we've seen at times, and they mounted. I felt like early in the game, we played fine, but it's not a 3 or 4 inning game. And we could not get out of our own way on the mound, and they absolutely made us pay for any mistake. And the mistakes came in the form of not landing some good secondary pitches to get them off the fastball, and then when you're in situations to really try to expand and put people away, we did not do that either. That's what it comes down to. So the flushing and ready to play and all that, I did not feel that at all. The execution, we all felt.
I think it was 6 runners left on base and a couple in scoring position in the first 3 innings. You kind of touched on it.
Yeah.
But just when you're unable to convert in those situations and you spend a lot of time early in the season wanting more quality at bats, do you kind of, where are the teaching moments and where do you go from there and kind of execute them?
Well, right now in that locker room, like those teaching moments can't be more in your face than they are right now. So they're learning, and there are some guys that are playing in this right now that have not gone through this, and until you sometimes feel success and some failure and learn how that failure needs to be eliminated and what to do. These are tough learning moments, and there's some guys that are figuring out why those at-bats are not going as they needed to go, like in the second and third inning of the game, or first and second inning. I can't remember, so much had happened, but yeah, we clearly needed something else, and we didn't have, the extra base hit was not in play as much, and that helps. They did. I didn't look at it, but their extra base hit stuff clearly helps you score in bunches, and we needed anything, but the extra base hit would surely would help more than anything.
It had been the walks from the bullpen. They were probably too high and a lot of barrels this weekend. How tough is it, I guess, when it's not one thing you can point to, and when it seems like all the guys who you've kind of been able to count on or wanted to count on seem to be kind of going through something at the same time?
Yeah, it's tough. Mike and I go through this every day in a lot of ways, but once you're into the game, it's, what's the order of operations when you bring somebody else into the game? And that's a very impactful part of the game, maybe the most impactful thing that you can do. And it's not a strike throwing contest. Like you're trying to pitch, and there are going to be some walks and things that do happen, but ultimately the command and the execution trumps all you do out there. And the gamesmanship and the game control goes along with it, but the game control today revolves simply around the ability to execute, which is kind of like it did yesterday. And it's tough. And these, like I told you yesterday, the relievers in some cases will make 25 or 30 appearances. So you got to have there's some really good ones, and you have to, just like the hitters, learn from the at-bats, learn from when you're making pitches. Are you trying to do too much? Are you trying to throw the breaking ball so good, like in those counts, that you actually throw a worse breaking ball that's in the middle of the plate? So these guys are going to have to learn. I mean, this is what we have, and they're going to have to learn, and we've seen them really, really good. They'll be really good again. They just have to learn from this miserable feeling of how to apply some of those things they're working on and make sure it shows up regardless of the score, regardless of the role. You have to perform and take the work into the game.
I think coming into the year, you were really confident in the stuff and the depth of stuff that you had on the mound. You just feel like it's pitch execution that's consistently not being there for you
Yeah,
guys.
I think the stuff's still pretty good. But when you play physical teams that have a sense of what they're doing, they've seen a lot of good stuff. But then the deal maker is really the location of the good stuff and the ability of the good stuff to not always be in the zone. Like you have to be able to pitch in, around, and out of the zone. And with the good stuff, but I do think the stuff is fine.
You guys have that in Gainesville Tuesday and then Blacksburg this weekend, because that's a little bit more onus on these guys to figure things out, get it right quickly.
Do you think? Yeah, I mean, there's no way around it. Like they know what they signed up for. Like this is not easy, and they're going to have to learn. They have to, and we as coaches have to learn. Like how does this feel in game, and are there adjustments that we need to make with who's in the game or the order of operations with things? But they know, and it is difficult. Like this is high-level stuff, and these are really, really good college baseball teams. This was a super regional or college World Series type competition. It was. Now I know it didn't go the way we wanted, but they know that this is what the roadmap lays out for you.